nice and loud.
Learn about the geography of the ancient Egypt.
Beautiful. Let's review. What does the word geography mean that we spoke about yesterday? Let's see. Joseph.
It's a study of Earth.
Beautiful. The study of the earth. Excellent. So, today, in your small groups, you are going to take out your packets from yesterday, turn to page 10. Okay. And you are going to look at the passage that we read yesterday about the geography of ancient Egypt. Okay, so that was on page 10. Okay, so yesterday, those of you who might have been absent, we read the passage on page 10 and we learned about different facts about the geography of ancient Egypt. We learned about the Nile River, the Upper and Lower Egypt, and where Egypt is located. Okay? So, today in your small groups, you are going to be looking back in the story and picking out the most important pieces of information about ancient Egypt. So, looking at the board, let's go over the directions, what we're going to do. Who wants to read number 1? Sarah, nice and loud.
Reread yesterday's passage about the 10 geography of Egypt on page 10.
Beautiful. So in your small groups, you are going to read independently. Okay? Number 2. Once you're done reading, what are you going to do, Charles?
Then, with a highlighter, highlight the most important pieces of information.
Good. And that's done as a whole group, as a small group. Your whole table should discuss what you think are the most important pieces of information. Now, when you're highlighting, do you think you should be highlighting the entire page?
No.
What do you think?
The small part.
The most important pieces of information, things that we need to know about ancient Egypt. Then, after you highlight, what's the third step you're going to do? Third step, Jack.
Listen, using the questions on the board, look back in the passage to fill in the geography of ancient Egypt, student notes on page 11.
Good. So right now, if you look down in your ancient Egypt booklets, you can see on page 11 that it says Geography of Ancient Egypt Student Notes. Okay? And who could just read what it says underneath that? Lawrence, go ahead.
Read the geography of ancient Egypt handout. Write down notes on the following topics in spaces provided.
Good. So what are the 3 different topics that it breaks up for you? Who could find the 3 different topics that it separates for you? Shelley. Good. Location. Good. So the Nile Delta, which is also what? The Nile River. And then the third one, Norman, is which one? Upper and Lower Egypt. Good. Okay. Now, before we start, any questions? Oh, and there's one more thing on the bottom. You could read the little star. The star note on the bottom. The star. Michael, nice and loud.
Student notes do not need to be in full sentences.
Okay, so what that means is that it does not need to be in full sentences. So do you need to copy everything word for word from the story?
No.
No. Should you try and put it in your own words?
Yes.
And can you use bullet points?
Yes.
Yes, because you're just taking quick notes of the most important pieces of information. So we're going to start with number 1, which is rereading. So I'm going to put about 6 minutes on the board for you to reread now, silently, what we did yesterday. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, you can start. some of us are using our pencils to follow along, our fingers to follow along, reading quietly. Okay, so I see that some of you finished early, so I'm gonna do about 1 more minute, and then we're gonna start giving out the highlighters. Okay. Okay, so when you're done, you can just look up at the board so that I know you're ready for step number 2. Okay, so I'm gonna start with this group. Okay, so. You get your highlighters. Remember, decide as a group what you think. So you're going to reread paragraph by paragraph what you think you should do highlighted. Okay? Go ahead. Alright? Guys, same thing with you guys. Decide together as a group what you think is the most important piece of information. Oh, yes. Here. Okay? So you're not taking any notes in your student notes. Okay, thank you, Charles. Very good. Everyone has one? Extra? Yeah. All right. Okay, so for this, you should be reading out loud, discussing with your groups what you think you should highlight. Let's get started. All right. Okay. So why doesn't one person read the first sentence, and then you can figure out? Go ahead.
Was divided into 2. Yeah, that's one.
Okay, so what do you think? So should we highlight the whole sentence? Let's keep reading. Well, what are the 2 regions called? Okay, so now what should we highlight? Good. Excellent. Okay. Okay, so now continue reading. So now, Juki, you can read the next sentence and discuss together what you should highlight. Okay, wait. So lower your
No, he just highlighted.
Okay, so Jojo, why don't you read the first sentence for everyone? Go ahead.
No, we're doing paragraph by paragraph.
Oh, paragraph by paragraph. Beautiful. Go ahead. All right. So wait, so you didn't highlight? Oh, so you read the first one, and now you're just
I think David's right, guys. Region upper. It was divided. Ancient Egypt was divided into 2 regions. I think this is important.
One second. 1, 2, 3 eyes on me.
1, 2 eyes on me.
I just realized when you're highlighting, don't highlight it too hard because I might go through to the page behind it.
Oh,
okay?
we did it. Mine
Okay, no problem. Okay, you can continue.
Oh, yeah, mine did.
If you want
Do a highlight.
I have a question for you. Each highlight is divided into 2 regions, Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. What do you think should be highlighted?
Lower Egypt contains
Excellent. Very good. Because you mentioned the 2, but now we need to know what more about them and what's in them.
So the climate of Egypt was
Yes. No. Okay, wait, let's listen to Michael. Remember, there's also one voice in your group, okay? Go ahead, Michael. What were you saying? Okay, so, good. Excellent. Excellent. So let's highlight that. It's important that we know what the Upper Egypt contains. And Lower Egypt. Yep, both of them. Okay, so now you will use Upper Egypt, so now what can you highlight for Lower Egypt? That's important. Excellent. Well, what does it contain? What's in the Lower Egypt? Excellent. Now, everybody else does. Why is that important? I agree with you. Why is that important? Beautiful. Okay, go ahead. All right, Julie, what else do you think in that paragraph? Okay, so that's what Sarah says. Wait a minute, I want to hear from you. What else do you think you can highlight in that paragraph? What else is important?
So right now, or west. Wait, this is
What else do you think? Where is it? Okay, so that's important to know where it is? Well, so what should we highlight? Do we need to highlight the whole sentence? It is in? Northeastern. Excellent, good. You just made those words. That there's the Upper Egypt and the Lower Egypt, but you only highlighted what Lower Egypt contains. Okay, so is it important to know what Upper Egypt? Good. So before you say you're finished, I want you to go back and make sure that you really highlighted everything that's important. And you didn't miss anything. What do you think about that, Scott? Is that important? The natural barriers?
No, Egypt is natural barriers.
Okay, good. So,
No, just the barriers. You don't have to say everything.
So do we need to know which barriers?
No.
What do you think?
Right now, only one place.
Desert, mountains.
I think it's important to know which barriers.
Yeah, just highlight it.
But
It's a whole. This whole paragraph.
it's basically most of the paragraph.
This whole. No, I got the whole paragraph. Guys, it's basically the whole paragraph.
No, I'm not writing provided.
Which is made by the
I think I'm going to give you a hint. In the last paragraph. Reread the last paragraph.
it is a rich and
As a part of the Sahara
Sarah Cooper.
Whose voice is it right now? Don't do the whole thing. Only do hot and dry.
And then we have edges that are hard.
All right, I have a question for you. If you look in the second paragraph, you highlighted Egypt is located in Africa. Is there another piece of important information you can find from there? Why do we disagree? The Nile River runs through the entire length of the country. You don't think it's very important? Why do you think it's important? No, okay, and you saw the last paragraph. Okay, Scott, do the last paragraph. Okay, thank you. What happened here? So that's what we were just discussing on that table. You don't think the fact that the Nile River runs through the entire ancient Egypt is important? Okay, so if you, well, why do you think it's so important? Let's hear.
Because otherwise we won't know about how easier and allow the Egyptians to create where it would start.
That's true. You wouldn't know that. Okay, instead of coloring, let's move on to the next one. Okay, let's move on to the third paragraph. Egypt is surrounded by natural barriers. The desert, mountains, and Mediterranean Sea provide protection. So, Juki, what do you think we should highlight in that paragraph? What's important to know?
Soil made farming easier.
So what exactly should I highlight? In this third paragraph, what should I be highlighting? Even from the first sentence. Look at the first sentence. Yeah, Egypt is surrounded by natural barriers. What can I highlight? Beautiful. Now, do you think it's important to know which barriers it's surrounded by? Yes, I agree with you. So you should highlight those as well.
So should I highlight the surrounded by natural barriers?
Yep.
The desert mountains.
Oh, see, you found something that I didn't miss. That I didn't even say. Oh.
No, I told the whole time. Okay, my turn.
A lot of this information is oh, you weren't supposed to wait yet. No. Not until you were done highlighting. I see you started, but we're gonna wait for 1 minute. We're gonna start together.
We were done and then we
We're done? Okay, fine. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3, eyes on me.
1, 2,
Okay, so I do want to give a compliment to this table because they went ahead and they were following directions. They started with number 3 already. Now, I'm just going to repeat those directions again. Once your entire table is done, okay, I am going to now put the questions on the board to help you fill in the boxes, okay? So, on the board, I have... So, on the board, what I did was I helped organize the boxes for you. So each one is separated. So you have questions for the location, questions for the Nile River, and questions for Upper and Lower Egypt. So basically, your note should be reflective of those questions. Okay, those are guiding questions. Those questions are there to help you fill it in. David, okay? So, like this table already, did I see they use bullet points? Excellent. You don't have to write in full sentences. I'm just reminding you. You can use bullet points, you can use fragments. Okay? So if you're done with highlighting, you can now move on to answering the questions. Okay, go ahead. So you answered the first one. We did the first and second. You did the first one. Okay, so my second one I should do one thing. The first one is which continent? You did the continent. Now, where in the continent is it located? In the northeast. So you can write in the northeast. Beautiful. I'm going to fix that question. Where in the continent is it located? Okay.
How long is the Nile Delta?
Yeah, I'm doing one.
No, how long is it? The Nile?
All you have to do is look. It's make a blue point and write located in Africa. Because we know it's Egypt. Where is the country?
What natural landforms?
The south.
Surround.
South. Oh, in Africa. No, there's Africa. Where is it? Africa. No, it's not.
How are we doing? So, okay, so my second question says, where in the continent is it located?
North, south.
Well, it doesn't look at me. Look back and you know. No, you're guessing and you're guessing. Find it for me. Put a finger so I know. Put a finger so I know what you're talking about. Where? Where is it? In the northeastern portion. So, my second bullet point should say northeast. Okay. Okay. Good. And because you have it in front of you, it should not be spelled wrong.
Yeah, really.
Okay. So Jojo, you want to read the third question for your group? Go ahead. Read the third question for them.
It's the same thing.
Whatever, the Nile River is occupied by ancient Egypt was out in
Well, the third question is what barriers surround ancient Egypt? Okay, so, okay. All right. This group, I need you guys, hold on. Okay, we don't have enough time to highlight anymore, so I need you to put the highlighters down, and I need you to start answering the questions. You write it on this page, okay? Okay. I need you guys to start. I'm going to the highlighters, and I need you guys to start. So, you have to read the question to the entire group, and then decide together. So put a bullet point.
No, we're still
That's fine. But, so,
Where does the Nile River sit? Where does the Nile River run?
go ahead back in your nose. I don't think you should be guessing. Look back in your nose. Which one? Which question? It's the same.
the Nile Canal?
Okay.
The whole country.
But you have
the whole
to,
country.
you took a, you have to,
Where does the Nile River run through the whole country?
Wait, northeast of
Okay, my second question says, where does the Nile River run through? Where does it? The entire Egypt. Beautiful.
What natural landforms or barriers ancient Egypt?
Which one? Look back in your notes. Look back and see who highlighted it.
The Nile River runs
Which paragraph talks about the Nile River?
Excellent.
Excellent. Michael, did you talk about which paragraph?
Easy to read.
Thank you, Michael.
Because there's water. It's the only place.
Why do the Egyptians live along the Nile River? Oh yeah, to make the farming.
Natural right next to the valley of Nile is here. Desert. Desert.
I really want to go give a compliment to everybody with how nice you were working today. Really big compliment. Which one?
Why would people choose to live?
Both of those reasons. It's more than one reason. Actually, it was the only. Well, it was the only source.
What does Lower Egypt contain? Lower Egypt contains the Nile River Delta.
Lower Egypt contains the Nile River Delta.
The Nile River Delta.
The Nile River.
Delta.
Nile Delta is the Nile River.
Which one?
Oh,
Oh, well, make sure the Nile Delta is not Nile. That's the Nile Delta. It's separated by
Guys, the next one is
section.
What does Upper Egypt contain? What is Upper Egypt? Consists of the narrow strip of land located. It's located south of the Nile.
It's part of which one? Okay, so right next to the Nile Delta, I want you to just write Lower Egypt, like put a dash, and write Lower Egypt, just so you know that we're talking about Lower Egypt. Right next to it. Okay, good.
What's the answer?
What's the answer for which one? How about we look back in the story and find it? Okay, so part of working in a small group, this group, is that you're working together at the same pace. Okay, if Madeline feels that you're moving ahead too quickly, we need to slow down. Hey, Madeline, which question are you up to? Okay, so Madeline's up to the second question in the Nile Delta. We're not sharing answers, we're helping her find the answers. So it says, where does the Nile River run through? So Madeline, where does it run through? The whole Nile River. Egypt, it runs through the entire Egypt. Okay, so how about let's all discuss it together. Why do you think people would choose to live along the Nile River? Why?
There's more
Water, and why else? What does it say? Tell me.
Egypt was hot and dry.
Is that why people would live there? Oh, well, because it was hot and dry, they chose to live by the river. Good. How do you know that? What does it tell me in the story? In the passage, what does it say? Why would they live there? How can you find that information?
No, you don't have to say
What would you say? Say it again.
Contains a strip of land south of
Rich soil made farming easier. Good, so it was easier to grow crops, to grow fruits and vegetables.
because it's easier to go.
All right. This table, we're done? Okay, wonderful. I love it.
We do the word search.
Yes, you begin on page 5. You begin, sorry. You could do 5 instances. That's fine. Okay. We're done? You done? Okay, let's take a look.
Guys, the last two questions. What does low Egypt defensive upper Egypt?
I found it already.
Where's Pharaoh? Where's Pharaoh? Guys, where's Pharaoh? What's the
What did I write? All right, next group, you almost done? You got one more? All right, one more question.
What is it called again?
Go back, read it. What does it say? the upper. Find the sentence that says Upper
Nile
Egypt.
River Delta.
But I want Juki to find it. The Upper Egypt that says Lower Egypt contains the Nile River Delta. That's the Lower Egypt. What's Upper Egypt? No, that's fine. You're right. What does Upper Egypt contain? I want Juki to find it. What does it say? Read it.
It's narrow strip of land.
Right?
Wait, what's from the I need paper. I need
Keep it open. Okay. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. Okay, so now I'm going to ask for eyes, no supplies. Eyes, no supplies. Excellent. Okay, so I just want everybody, I know some of you went to the word search, but I want everybody to go back to pages 10 and 11 for a quick minute. Okay, now, how did you feel, 1 second, how did you feel about rereading, highlighting, and then picking out the most important piece of information? Who would like to share? Right, go ahead.
Easy to understand.
Highlighting or both? Which part?
Both.
So highlighting and then picking the information. Okay. Anybody want to comment, agree, disagree with what Ray said? What do you want to say? Okay, so why do you agree with him?
He said, what did he say?
So what did, Ray, could you repeat what you said again?
Like, it's easier to understand.
He said the highlighting made it easier to understand. So you agreed that, which part did you like? Because there was a lot of information that you read through. So which part did you like? Okay, did you like the highlighting part of it? And you both agree with him. Now, did you think that it was harder, easier to do it in the small groups? Raising a quiet hand. What did you think, JoJo? You thought it was easier. Okay, why did you think it was easier?
Because the highlighting made it easier for everybody.
Okay, and what about working with the people on your table? Did you? Everybody helped each other. That's what we like to hear. Good. So, I'm extremely proud because you read through and dissected, you took apart so much of the information. You really did. And I have to say, I'm very impressed with the highlighting, the important pieces that you took out of it. Now, my final question. Having the questions on the board, was that easier and it helped you look for the pieces of information to take out of the story? Jack?
But it was easier.
It was easier when you had the questions? Maurice?
It was very easy because you put the questions on.
It was easier, so good. So having the questions helps you know what to look for in it. So what you could do now is you could go back to pages 5 and 6. You can start with the word search and then move on to vocabulary.